Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Now it's been a while since I've done one, but we've just been waiting for the repotting really, waiting for all the buds. A couple of trees have got to repot this year into their new pots. The Trident maple here, nothing wrong with this pot, great size for it. It's not root bound, it's too big. And the previous owner, when I bought it off him, he did say this year put it into a smaller pot because he was basically putting that pot for root development. So that one's got a nice small one. If you watch my community tabs, you'll probably know which one. But yeah, we can get it out that big chunky one. For today's video, obviously, we're going to do the Korean Hornbeam. This one isn't so much because it's filled up this pot. It's because last year the pot broke when it got sent to me. So what I did basically was I just roughed up the edges and slip potted it into this one. That's why it's so high in this pot. So all I wanted to do was take it out and disturb more of the roots again and just take off some of this moss just to see underneath, and just to see, because you can, like, if you look down here, we've got a bit of possible root, something, a little bit of rotten something maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to take it out and have a look at it. Obviously, as you can see, the Arakawa, that one's going into I was going to put it back into that pot, but I'm actually going to put it into a much smaller one, because I think it's just too big, that pot, for what the tree is. But apart from that, that is the only one, the only three that will be going in. Alright guys, so that is the tree out of the pot. I just clipped the wire and lifted it out. Surprisingly has got a lot of root. There was about 1 inch around the edge basically of the new soil that I put in, and you can see it's got quite a bit. Obviously this isn't a massive repot. All I want to, I'm putting it in the same pot, so all I'm going to do is just dig back this new stuff, get back to the really old root ball under this moss and just have a look at that, and then we can put that back into the pot over there. It's just to, I don't want to, because I slip potted it, I don't want to ignore the roots inside there that are going to be more tangled up in that old soil than the new ones here. So I'll set up the camera and we'll do a little time lapse of me scraping back the soil. Hi guys, so as you probably saw in the time lapse, we managed to reduce the root ball a lot. That's probably as much as I'm going to do it because I keep hitting this with the root hook, and a lot of this area in here is actually solid. You can probably hear that. I'm not sure if that's mud, you know, really solid mud, or it actually looks a bit like it could be possible part of the tree. So I'm not going to go into that part of the tree lots. Sorry, if I hold it up though, you can see there's like 2 layers of roots. And obviously when you're coming down the bonsai, you want a nice, small, compact, fibrous root ball around the base of the trunk. So this has actually made my job much easier, because basically what I'm going to do now is just cut all along here. I'll do another time lapse for that in a minute. And then we'll reduce the root ball by about half there. But there's still plenty of fibrous roots in this section here that it should support the tree. Bearing in mind as well, this tree has also had a winter prune. So there's a little less foliage coming out to begin with. I don't know if I posted anything about the winter prune actually, but you may realise this branch here. This one is looking a bit bare at the moment because I took off this big one that was kind of right above it. I decided to keep the second branch, the lower branch, purely because it's got a bit more of a movement in it. The top branch here was going more upwards and joining up with this, and I didn't really want it coming into this bit. I wanted it coming down here, and then eventually we're going to wire some of these branches down as well. But yeah, so I'll do a quick little time lapse of the root prune and get back to you in a minute. Right guys, so there we go. Drastically reduced the size of this root ball, but as you can see, we got plenty of fibrous roots going around the edges here. Now I just want to go through just quickly and just remove a few of these that are growing in the wrong direction. I'm also going to be taking off any of these really thick, like look at that, it's got nothing on it, that root, thicker useless roots. There's ones like this one here that can go, don't need that. Same with that. I do apologise the slowness, I am doing this by hand. That root wasn't actually attached, so all we want is all these little fibrous ones, but to get rid of these thicker roots. If they've got lots of fibrous roots on, that's fine. But as you can see with most of them, like this one here, it's not really got many fibrous roots on it at all, so we don't need it. We'll get rid of that. Turn it to the side. This is the other one I wanted to get rid of that I saw earlier. Much bigger root. It's not got many feeders on it. You see that, look, it's really not got any feeders. That root is not really proving any issue, and it was wrapping around the side, so if I'd left that, eventually it might have gone around the tree and strangled all these smaller roots that are here as well. We got one down there, get rid of that. Turn around, we got one more in here, just cut that right back. Once again, really, it's not going to focus, as you can kind of see, there are really not many fibrous roots whatsoever. So anyway, I think that is it for this tree. Obviously, now we've got to repot it up. I've got all the, just for those who may not know about setting up a pot, obviously you want your little bits of mesh covering your holes, and then in a minute I will wire some hold down mesh through these 2 holes on the side, just to hold the tree into place so it doesn't get blown out or anything in the future. And then yeah, I think it's not bad from that one really. It's a bit odd, the front. This is the front, I think, before. I think I'm going to have to keep it there because this is you kind of got the trunk line and it's coming towards you and all the branches are set up this way. It's got an alright root here. I'll get a toothbrush to it, I think, in a minute, and just give it a little demoss. I want to try and stop as much rot as we can on this tree. But yeah, I think that's definitely a nice. I think we'll keep it in this pot for now because I don't actually have a smaller one for it. But I wouldn't mind putting it in this pot much smaller than that. Probably, you know, like a good 10 centimeters or 5 centimeters or smaller than that. That's a very big pot. The problem is now is I'm downsizing my trees into pots. I'm gonna be stuck with some very big pots. But anyway, that's for another day. So I'll do a quick time lapse of me planting it up, and then I'll be back to you once we come to the end. Alright guys, so there you go. There is the final result. Just for those who might be wondering, I am using Kaizen No. 2 mix for this tree. I'll be using it for more or less all of my trees. It's just kind of a good all-rounder. But yeah, I wasn't planning on putting it so high in the pot. But in fact, I actually quite liked that level. I was just about to take out some from underneath when I was pushing it right down, but I made sure to properly push it in. It's not as high as it was, but it is a little prominent, but I think it looks quite nice. The tree sitting there in the centre. I know some people say you should maybe put a tree to the side, but I only tend to do that with trees that maybe are more foliage on one side. This is kind of a good all-round, and I want the foliage to kind of fill the pot. But anyway, I will obviously give this a good water off camera and leave it in the greenhouse just for a little bit. Most of the frost is gone now, but there's still a lot of rain and all this, and I don't really want them to get waterlogged necessarily because it's pissing it down at the moment for most of these days. But anyway, we'll put it in here just to recover a little bit, wait until the weather's definitely warmer and the buds are opening up, and then we'll chuck it outside and let it do its thing until we come to its first prune, probably early summer. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I shall see you in the next one.